Hi there, this is Wolf Branch Homestead. We've got a raccoon hide from last year and we're going to take it and turn it into a little bag. We've got the raccoon hide, it's finished and tanned. We got a little bit of buckskin lace, a pair of scissors, a pencil, and a little X-Acto knife. Remember, if you're younger, make sure you have a parent with you to help you out with this project because it is using a small knife. So just to be safe, make sure you talk to your parents and have them help you. So we've got our raccoon hide, and what I want to do with this is take it and fold it up like this essentially, and then what I'm going to do is trim the sides and sew it up, and then I'm going to make a little loop to tuck the tail in, and that'll secure the bag shut, and then it'll open up something like this, open the tail part, and it opens the bag. So what I have to do first is I've got to trim the edges off. I need to mark out where I want my bag, how wide I want it to be, and how wide I can make it. And then what I'll do is mark it, and I'm going to use an X-Acto knife to trim the underside. You don't want to trim the top side where the fur is, because then you're going to take this fur and you're going to cut through it and it's going to make kind of an ugly line to it. So what you want to do instead is be very careful, and on the underside, when you make your marks, you'll take an X-Acto knife and you'll make cuts on the underside along those lines, and you're going to try not to cut through the fur. All you're going to try to do is cut through the skin side here that's tanned and not cut through the fur, and it'll make your edges look a lot nicer. So I've got the bag kind of how I want it, and what I'm going to do is fold it up really nice and make some creases where I want the bag to actually be cut at and closed, and then I'll use those creases to make my marks with a pencil. So I've got it folded up the way I want to make my bag, and I've got this excess on the sides here. So what I'm going to do is, now that I have it closed the way I want it to be, I'm going to take a pencil and make a little bit of a mark just where I've kind of ran out of excess on it. That way everything will match up, and I'm going to trim this off right here. And the same thing with the other side, wherever I've got my decent line at. And that way I kind of know where to make my mark at. Now what I'm going to do is take the X-Acto knife, be very careful, and then I'm going to make a small cut right here where I've got my marks at, and just kind of trim the excess off to start with. Now that I've got the edges trimmed, you'll see where the hair actually kind of lays over where that cut is. That's the benefit to cutting from the underside with an X-Acto knife. You'll see, like I said, on the edges there where the hair kind of sticks out over it. That way when you fold it up and you sew it, your edges aren't quite as noticeable. Another thing I forgot is that I'm also going to use a hole punch here. I've got an awl and my hammer. And what I'm going to do is, I've got my line drawn in the middle where I'm going to fold it up at, and where I'm going to kind of tuck it over here. And what I'll do is, I've marked where I need to actually make my holes at. And then what I'll do is punch it out with the little awl. So I forgot to mention also what you would need for actually sewing everything up and getting the bag closed up before you actually run the straps through it. What I've got is a little awl, and I've got a little hammer, and I've turned it inside out, punched holes, and I've laced it right here. And then what I'll do is flip the bag back, I guess you'd say inside out from where it is right now, and flip it where the hair is on the outside, and then it'll kind of hide those stitches that I've done, and also just have it where the hair is kind of covering it up, and it'll make it look a lot cleaner. So now I've got it turned right side out, and I need to figure out where I want my tail to fit through, where I want my strap to go to actually secure the tail kind of tight and keep the bag closed. So what I'm going to do is figure out where I want that to be. I'm going to mark it and then go and flip the inside and make my holes and run the buckskin lace through there. Now I've got a small piece of lace tied around. There's 2 holes and it fits through from the inside and ties around. And that way you can secure the tail to the front of the bag. And now all it's left to do is braid some deer leather and make the straps for it. Almost done braiding the deer leather to make the strap for the bag, and that will be the very last thing that I add on. I didn't want a terribly long strap for it, so I made one a little bit shorter than my buckskin bag that I have, but I really like the braided look. You basically take 3 different strands of the deer leather lace and braid it together, and it makes a really nice strap, and a very sturdy one too. And there we go. So we've got our strap finished up, we've got it added on, and now we're going to tie it together. And there we go. See if you can see it. So we've got it completely finished up. You can see where it ties and the braids on it. Then all you have to do is untie that right there and lift the tail part up to get to the inside, and that way you've got a strap where you can carry it over your shoulder. And you could probably make these where you have a belt loop on the back where you could carry it just as a small pouch. There's all sorts of different ways that you could make one. Now this was just our immediate idea with one. Let's untie it. And if you really wanted to, you could probably put a liner on the inside. Thank you for watching, everybody, and have a great day.